Hello and welcome to CU Kanata. My name is Travis Fleeler and I am the Director of Operations for Carleton University here in Kanata. Our conversations today are going to be meeting with student innovators. So these are the builders, the great minds, the thinkers, the leaders in our classrooms who are gaining skills and applying those skills, whether it's in co-ops, internships, capstone projects, or even working directly with companies on research and even starting their own companies. We want to showcase the type of talent that Carleton has and hopefully can translate that into how they're going to impact industry, the future, and our communities as a whole. So thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you at Kanata. Today, I have Kevin Fernando with me. He's an engineering student, aerospace engineering. He's also the president of the Blackbird UAV team, who are building autonomous aircraft that compete across North America. And Kevin, it's great to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So just kind of jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about your university career. What brought you to Carleton and why aerospace?
So I think my drive for aerospace engineering really comes from my passion for aviation. Mm-hmm. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been fascinated with airplanes, always wanted to be a pilot. And so growing up, I went through the Air Cadet program. Okay. And so I got a lot of exposure to airplanes and I got my pilot's license through that. And so I think that combined with my high school, I learned that I was very strong in math and science, and aerospace engineering just seemed like the next step for me. And so looking around Carleton University specifically, there's very little universities or schools in Canada that actually offer an aerospace specific program. And so when I found Carleton University, I saw that was a very good opportunity. They had a very high standing engineering program, and so I made the decision to come here.
Excellent. Did you tour the campus before, or did you just do your research online and that's the school for me?
My first time on campus was in my second year.
Oh right, because it would have been COVID.
Yeah, so I didn't actually tour the campus or anything like that, which was a little bit hectic, but it's okay because I loved it, and it's worked out very well for me. I loved my time here.
So with aerospace, and obviously now you're doing a lot of work with drones and UAVs and things like that. Like when you were growing up, were you playing a lot with remote control cars, remote control airplanes? And
Yeah, no, I bugging my parents all the time for some RC planes. Got a really cheap one, flew it right into a pole and broke the wing right away. It took a little bit of a break between being a very small kid, playing with some RC planes, and then when I was old enough to buy my own RC planes, I started to get into it. And then over COVID, had a lot of time on my hands, and so got into RC planes a lot. And I think that's really what drove me into Blackbird UAV as a design team specifically, because Carleton does have a lot of other experiences. Like there's a race car team and a rocket team, and I think I chose Blackbird specifically because of, first of all, aviation, and second of all, my experience with RC planes and things like that.
And it's probably nice to be able to go back to your family who are probably saying, hey, stop playing with toys and stop playing with cars and little airplanes and focus on your studies. And then you're like, what are you doing with your studies? Like, playing with airplanes and drones and remote vehicles.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
Kind of fun. So talk to us a little bit about the Blackbird UAV. Obviously, you're leading the group there. It's a fairly substantially sized group. Talk to us a little bit about what you guys are doing, where you're competing, and for those who don't know what Blackbird is, it might be a good chance for you to kind of shine some light on what you guys are up to.
So Blackbird has been an engineering design team for a very long time, actually. They started in 2009, and they took a little bit of a break over the COVID years, but coming back from COVID, we've had a lot of success. In 2022 was our first competition back, and that was the first competition that we actually got first place at for the national competition, which is absolutely amazing. Now, coming back from COVID, the team was very, very small. So about 10 people on the team, and every year since then it's been growing, but it wasn't really till last year that we started getting like 100, 200 students interested in the team, and now we're sitting at about 200 students that are registered with us for the year, and we have like 600 students on the online community. And our focus is really just student competitions. We go to one main competition, the Aerial Evolution Association of Canada student competition, and it hosts about 20 different universities from all over Canada. And we focus on, their competition changes very often from year to year. So a couple years ago, it was an urban mobility competition. So we designed an air taxi which would go and land in it would maneuver around different buildings and things like that. This year it was a firefighting competition, and so we were able to pick up water from a reservoir and bring it over to simulated fires and then dispense that water. This year it's another firefighting competition as well, where we have to pick up some heavy equipment like fire extinguishers, ladders, and also have a water sprayer to be able to spray water on indoor targets and things like that.
How is that going to change in terms of the the engineering side of it, going from picking up a little bits of water and being able to spray a target versus something a little more heavier, and do like the heavy lift drone kind of activities?
Yeah, so we are actually designing a brand new drone from last year, taking inspiration from last year's drone, and we're customizing it specifically for the competition this year. And so different motors, different propellers to give us the ability to lift heavier objects, and fully customizing the water spraying capability and things like that as well.
So I'm assuming that these parts aren't cheap, and probably some of them aren't easily accessible either. How are you procuring like these different parts to put together these drones?
We do a lot of sponsorship work with a lot of different companies. We try our best to get Canadian companies, and things like Great Hobbies in Ottawa is actually a very, very good source for us because they are able to get a lot of parts that we need. But other than that, we look for international sponsorships as well, so we're able to ship in some parts for whatever we need.
And have you guys thought about commercializing any of your drones, or where are you at in that aspect of things?
We've definitely gotten some pushes into trying to commercialize the drones, but I think specifically because the majority of our funding comes through the school and the faculty, we don't really have the space to commercialize the drones. Right. We teach our members all the things that they would need to be able to do it themselves if they needed to, but I think for Carleton's Blackbird specifically, we focus on teaching people and competing in the student competitions instead of the commercialization of the drones themselves.
So, obviously you're balancing your studies, you're balancing, leading the team for Blackbird. You had an internship mixed into this as well, into your experience at Carleton. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the skills that you had in the classroom, what role you had in your internship, and how you were able to apply those skills on that in that co-op?
For sure. I've had two different internships. My first one wasn't very aerospace at all. I worked at Lactalis Canada. It's a cheese factory in Belleville, Ontario.
Love cheese. I'm from Belleville area.
I love cheese as well. And my main role there was optimizing the machines that cut and wrap the cheese. And so it was a little bit mechanical. So we had to apply some of the class learning into the machines, how they work. There was some robot arms that moved and things like that. But my second internship was at Transport Canada, and that was very focused on the aerospace side of things. I was working as a continuing airworthiness under the National Aircraft Certification. Okay. And that's where I started to apply my knowledge of aircraft and designing an airplane and seeing how different design aspects can affect the regulation and things like that. But I think the biggest thing taking my classroom learning is when we're in class for engineering, and this is for a lot of different engineering programs, is we learn how to learn. And that's the big thing, is we're going to be learning for how many years in our life, right? So engineering programs really teach you the best way to learn for yourself, and taking that ability and applying that to everything that you do is really, really helpful. And that's been the biggest way that's helped me through my internships.
And how was the journey trying to seek out these jobs and then actually landing a job? Did you find like it was a challenge? Did you feel like you had to do a lot of extracurriculars to kind of pad your stats more or less on your resume to become more employable, or did you rely on just networking and being able to kind of sell yourself, so to speak, before applying for jobs?
I think it was a lot of both. There was a lot of networking beforehand and things like that. I think it can be difficult at first to try and find jobs, but networking has definitely helped. I've been at a lot of different networking events with like the Carleton Mechanical and Aerospace Society and things like that. But my biggest successes have actually come from the Federal Student Work Experience Program. And so that was where the Transport Canada internship came from. And I think my extracurriculars did play a very, very big role into getting these kind of things, because aside from the Blackbird UAV competition, I also compete in like the engineering competitions that Carleton has to offer. Right. And they send their students to the Ontario engineering competitions, and then from there to the Canada engineering competitions and that sort of thing. And I think being able to talk about those experiences and the technical skills that you learn from your extracurriculars are very, very helpful in job interviews and things like that, and have been successful for me so far.
Just for students who might be watching this or listening in, how did you navigate finding these different student groups and competitions? Where are they generally posted? How are you finding them? Is it word of mouth, or are there certain websites or landing pages or some place that they can go to find how to join a group or a club or engage in these competitions?
I think for me specifically, it's been a lot of word of mouth. One of my friends actually told me to sign up to be a facilitator for Carleton's Internships, and that was really the start of everything. Internships gave me a view of all of the different societies on Carleton, all the different avenues that I could get involved in, things like that, and that was a really, really good way to get involved in the first place, and I would really recommend volunteering with them because all of them are volunteers and they really care about bringing in the first years and fostering a community and things like that. So I think there's tons of different resources to be able to get involved, and I think a big thing that stops people from getting involved is especially in design teams, a lot of people think that you need to have experience to be able to do what we do, but something that I preach at Blackbird is we don't need any experience at all. We will teach you everything. That's our main goal, aside from the competitions, is teaching the students some hands-on skills that you really don't get in your classes and things like that.
What would you say have been some of the more technical challenges that you've had to face, and how have you generally overcome them? And you can look at either the Blackbird perspective or just in your own studies.
In Blackbird specifically, I can say the biggest technical challenge for us as a team was tuning a custom-built drone. Okay. Getting it in the air and controlling it is very, very difficult. And so we had about a month-long tuning process of going out there, trying to make the drone do what we wanted it to do. It didn't react exactly how we wanted it to, and then changing the parameters in the computer a little bit, and then trying it again over and over again. And even right at the end, I think we got pretty close to where we wanted it to be, but not exactly where we wanted it to be, where there was still some weird movements that we were not looking for. And so I think that is part of the difficult things, and we're going to focus on that again this year because we don't really have too much experience on that, but we've been learning a lot and reaching out to our partners and things like that to learn a lot. And so on the Blackbird side, that has definitely been one of the big challenges. On studies side, balancing the studies and the extracurriculars have been very, very difficult. Specifically now in my fourth year, getting very deep into the technical learning of all these specific aerospace ideologies. It's absolutely starting to get a little difficult, and all the stuff that we're learning is at a very high level now, and so it's very, very direct into what I've been wanting to learn and things like that, but it is very challenging.
That's great.
So.
If you could identify anyone who has been a mentor for the Blackbird group or just for yourself in general from Carleton to help kind of answer questions or be there if you're like, geez, I'm really racking my brain on this problem. Who have you been able to lean on, whether it's a department or an individual specifically that you may want to kind of mention?
Our faculty advisor actually has been a very, very big help to us. Jeremy Laliberté, also an associate chair with the Mechanical and Aerospace Society at Carleton. And very, very helpful to us, always allowing us to, have our freedom in the club, but then helping us whenever we really need to. And our senior members who have been part of the club, who come back and are part of our design reviews and things like that, are very, very helpful.
So obviously you mentioned you have about 30 to 40 people within the Blackbird core group. How are you managing all these personalities? Obviously you're gaining your skills in the classroom, and you're gaining skills by the hands-on side with building the drones with Blackbird, but you're also gaining more skills on the leadership side as well. How are you managing the different personalities in the Blackbird group?
So we have about 10 people on the executive team, and then about 40, 50 students, the core students that actually come out and work, and all of them are very strong-minded, right? They all have very strong opinions on how to design things, and I love the fact that my executive team really knows how to lead a group of students like that, and I can trust my executive team to be able to be good leaders and things like that, and I think one of the ways that we go about that is, open forums, taking in everyone's opinions, and then, we talk it through and see, what is really the best path of action for us and things like that.
Okay, we're going to take a little, we're going to kind of slide into a bit of a fun segment here. We're going to call it Turbulence or Smooth Sailing.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to tell me which one you feel is more turbulent or if it's smooth sailing for you.
Okay.
So the first one, Pulling an all-nighter before a flight test, would you say that it's turbulent or it's smooth sailing?
I'd say definitely turbulence.
Turbulent?
A good amount of turbulence, especially coming up to like the competition itself. In about the month before the competition, where all of us are very locked in to everything that we need to do to get in preparation. A lot of the time, coming back from COVID, it's been, or at least I hear that it's been down to the last minute getting some stuff done. But last year we had a lot of things done beforehand, but we realized that there's a lot of things that we didn't actually get done in time, and a lot of that flight testing was in that month before, and so a lot of us spent like the morning to the late hours of the night trying to get some stuff figured out for a flight test coming up that weekend, kind of thing, and
waking up with tired eyes and full coffees, kind of thing,
and then getting right back into it because we really want to do the best we can, and it really worked out for us, but it definitely is challenging, and so I say turbulence.
Very turbulent. Okay. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier about just like the size of your team, would you say that leading a team of 30 strong personalities is smooth sailing for you, or is that fairly turbulent as well?
I'd say turbulence. I wouldn't say very, very turbulent because they're all very great people, and we're all looking for just the best out of Blackbird UAV, and so being aligned with that is really helpful. But still a large team, and managing all these kind of people are very sometimes turbulent.
And I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, that engineers do have very, very strong personalities and opinions. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think you may be a little bit right on that.
Okay, good. Validated. Would you say it's turbulent or smooth sailing being able to explain your project to non-engineers?
I would say that that's on the smooth sailing side, personally. I think that some people would disagree on that, but I've had a lot of practice having to explain what we do on Blackbird's side. And there's actually some courses that we have at Carleton that are focused towards the communications aspect, like being able to present well and things like that. I think my experience in the engineering competitions has definitely helped as well. Part of that is a presentation. You have to show what you did, and it's going on to the Ontario engineering competition and winning that was a very big opportunity for me to learn and things like that. So I think myself specifically smooth sailing, some people would probably say turbulence.
I love how you threw in and winning that competition, a little humble brag, right? So, all right, last one for you then on this little segment is, would you say landing funding to help with the development of your drones, would you say that's smooth sailing or has that been turbulent?
I think it's a bit of both. Originally, it was definitely turbulent. A lot of our funding comes directly from the faculty, and so this year there was a big stride to get everything done well ahead of their schedules and being fully prepared for their funding. But I would say somewhat smooth sailing because our new sponsorship team has been absolutely killing it. We're getting some sponsors from industry that are very interested in the work that we do and very eager to help us with what we do. And so it's a bit of both in the turbulence and the smooth sailing.
Okay. So just kind of close it out here. Lastly, I would like to hear from you in one word. What makes Carleton's engineering culture special?
I think just the engineering community that we have is absolutely amazing, and comparing it to some of the other schools that I see is awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate you coming and sharing some advice and thoughts on your experience and what you guys are doing at Blackbird. Obviously, you have lots of more wins, hopefully, under your belt to come. But yeah, we are looking forward to seeing the success with Blackbird and where things go for you and personally with your career as well, because the clock's ticking, you're almost done. So thank you again, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for our CU Kanata Talks. We hope that you were able to gain a little bit of insight of some of the skills that our students are learning here in the classroom and how they're applying those directly, whether it's in clubs, whether it's in industry, or just on their own little research projects as well. With that, we want to invite you to reach out to us at CU Kanata. We're here to help direct you to students, create that talent pipeline, or even to partner with us on a research capacity as well. As we may have learned from some of these sessions, there is so much that the university can offer, and we're here in Kanata to help you access that as well. So thank you for joining CU Kanata Talks. I'm Travis Fleeler, and we hope to see you at Kanata.